Raid of the White Leopard, Book 1, is the story of a band of Vikings that get caught up in a storm and wash up on a mysterious island. Written by Edwin Acevedo, the writer of The Ace, with art by Avery Butterworth from The Lost Pages. Back it today on fundmycomic.com.
Хоча покажу, як кожен спортсмен піднімає логліфт.
Покажи.
Можемо почати з Тірексу.
Ну давай, ложись в стену, давай.
А, блядь, сейчас шучу.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, I'm here. Woo, and remove. All right. So let's see. We have an argument going already. First off, hello, Omarosa. And I'm going to get into another Egyptian name later tonight, whatever, today. So let's see. Argument already going. It's good to see Avery Butterface breaking out of the shadow of his wife's success. Butterworth, sorry. I don't even know what his wife does. But for years I have mistakenly called him Avery Butterface because it accidentally happened once, so we stuck with it. And on Misfit Corner stream, I was in the chat and that got typed. But anyway, so what did he ever do to you? He just exists. Avery just exists. That's it. Hey, thanks for joining me tonight. So tonight's going to be hopefully interesting. One moment. You hear that rumbling. I'm moving the weight literally it's a 2.5 pound weight that holds my microphone in place on my desk. So let's see what we got. Now Blue is going to pretend he's never heard of Mrs. Butterworth. She's a household name. She's corn syrup. They removed the real Mrs. Butterworth and replaced her with corn syrup. She used to be maple and it was beautiful. Now what? All right, moving on. Okay, so I got stuff to open. Let's see, turn on the camera. Oh, it has been a packed week. So yes, I have to blow a few minutes talking about my week. Let's see, start camera. Here we are. This is me. So, oh boy, a week ago, I got some stitches and I need to put a bandage on them so they don't dry out. This is just lovely. So here we go. There you go, right there. So the deal is I'm allergic to adhesives, which means when they tape me up after surgery, oh, sorry about the pounding, just a moment. I see a comment coming. There we go. Had to mute that. I know you guys can hear this. So Blue's a savage. He got the entire Butterworth family in his crosshairs tonight. I buy only real maple syrup. Good. All right. I mean, it's still fructose. It's still sugar and it's sweet and stuff like that, but I prefer the tree. I genuinely prefer tree pea over corn processed stuff. So anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So it's been a packed couple of weeks. So on what's his name? Vinny Tartamella's stream a couple of weeks ago, I let on that I was building a computer for my nephew. Gauze. All right. So I'm sorry, because I'm getting my thoughts in too many directions at once. Because I am allergic to adhesives, I can't leave band-aids on for too long. There we go. Put that in place. Gauze, or ace bandage. This one's kind of worn out on the ends. Probably left over from a prior surgery. So I can't leave bandages on too long. Otherwise, like, it gets really bad. So after a surgery I had, we didn't know this. This is how we discovered it. They took the stitches out and then put like a gauze pad on it and then surrounded that with tape. And underneath the pad, like, I started to liquefy. It was really bad. So I came in, had that looked at, and they just said, "Oh, you're just allergic." And at the time I was like, what did the physician's assistant do to me? I was kind of miffed, and the drugs weren't helping either because I was still on painkillers. But you know, because they mess with your emotions. So I kind of had to learn to remember that I actually like the guy. So let's see what we got. Cocoa bow. Huh? I don't know the cocoa part, but I know what bow is. So let's see. Only real maple syrup. We all prefer the tree. Oh yeah, cocoa. Let's see. There's something else going on there. Why is the wind blowing? All right. Anyway. Oh yeah. So that's how we discovered I'm allergic to adhesives, and it gets really annoying if I leave things on there for too long. And so what else has happened this week? I got called out by Eric NINALTOWSKI, so I'm going to have to address that, which means this must be a Comicsgate stream if I'm EFAPing. So, sorry, that's really bad. I'm so sorry. Anyway, let's see. So a few weeks ago, I let on Vinny's. I'm gonna wait for this. Blue calls corn syrup Squanto's revenge. Sure, actually, I love corn. I just don't want the really processed weird stuff because they put other things in it too. The artificial sweeteners. It's like syrup is sweet enough. You don't need. Anyway, back to Vinny's stream. I let on that I was building somebody a computer. All right, so I got that one delivered and helped out with that, which is one thing. I'm always helping people with computers, and that's kind of where this is going. So I had to travel recently, as if you watched last week's stream, I mentioned and addressed a little bit, in addition to some other things. And in my travels, I also visited an artist because I said, hey, I'm going to be in your state. You know, we should try to get together, say hello. And so we did. And it turns out he needed computer help. So I told him I'll order stuff from your website later. And then I'm looking at the wrong text file here. Let's see. I need, nope, wrong one. Wrong. Scratch notes. There we are. So I ordered something from his website and he sent it, which is really cool. And if you saw the thumbnail for the stream, it's this little sticker on his on his mailer. But of course, I couldn't get the label off, so I had to cover this up. But we'll get to that later. Trying to find my notes. Okay, cool. And then what else? Oh yeah. So the people I stayed with while traveling were not family, even though I have family in that area. But let's see. Wait. All right, hold on. I can't read the chat because I will tell stories forever instead of just tying this up. So the people I stayed with had other computers that they want me to help rebuild or use, if possible, to build an old XP machine so they can play old games. And we're looking for alternate solutions. And so I have been hip deep in helping people with computer troubles. So, I visit an artist. Oh, he's having a computer problem. What do you know? I just built a computer for somebody. So now I'm building another computer for somebody and for me. Hey, Felix, how you doing? Tinkering with computers, even if some of them are just like, pardon that? Oh, don't spill those. I need those screws. Even if it's just getting into like a Mac Mini, which is pretty much nothing to get into, it's still intricate to like take all the pieces out and whatnot. So anyway. All that leading to the next point, which was, how's this fit on there? There we go. The next point being, I almost didn't get any books read for this week. So we got people saying hello. So Mel Biggs is saying hello. We all prefer the tree, cocoa tree. I love chocolate. In fact, I have some chocolate in here now. Squanto's Revenge. Yep. And then I can't believe Blue forgot to tell NINALTOWSKI to try turning it off and then on again. It wasn't NINALTOWSKI, but he did call me out. We'll get to that in a minute, in a few minutes. Hello. Felix, thank you for being here. Oh, I forgot to put a link in the descriptions. I'll just get that now. Samson, S-A-M-S-O-N, the Nazarite. Today, I'll warn you, you're going to hear a lot of I'm annoyed with Christians going on, but I'll justify it. Let's see. Samson the Nazarite. Oh, all right. I didn't spell that right. Samson the Nazarite comic. Come on, search. Holy cow, the search is slow. All right, there's Rooted Chronicles. And why did my... Oh, it's because they changed it. Their link says in text, Samson the Nazarite, copy, and paste into the chat. Everybody's being friendly. That's cool. I can close Eric's page. And have you considered turning the other cheek? To what? All right, there's the link. So there you go. We're going to look at parts of that book too. They changed the link to Samson's story. Have I considered turning the other cheek? I got 4 of them. I guess I got cheeks to spare. So, all right. We need to open some packages. Obviously, if this is from Arrow Comics, it's being distributed by Luke Stone. And I am a large supporter of Luke Stone, but I am losing weight, hopefully again. I did jump back up to 215. Holy cow. And there's a mix-up about, is that water weight because of vitamins I take, or is that fat, or is that muscle build? And it's kind of a mix. So, but yes, I'm still a big supporter of Luke Stone. Ever since he lost all that weight. I'm not sure I want to try his weight loss program. Laying in a hospital with COVID doesn't sound like it'll suit me. I will try turning the other cheek. All right, so I've been very, very busy. Almost didn't get a book read, and I still have to, after the stream, log on to the Red Cross site and get my first aid cert. It's not an OSHA first aid, so I'm safe to get it online and all that. Double check for doxing materials. Oh, we're good. Okay. So what is this silliness? There we go. Shiny. It's a giant shiny trading card. But it's not manga. So yeah, there you go. There's that. Kind of shiny. There's my microphone. There's my lamp. If that's too bright, let me know. Why is it not showing? Come on. You don't need you don't need COVID to enter a coma. Just wait till Bancroft does another Star Trek stream. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm just going to take your word for that. Rift Riders. Oh, it's Piper's book. Okay. I was being so nice by supporting this book because I'm such a good person. So, pop it open, take a look at it. I hate it when they put the tape on straight. There we go. Oh, extra stuff. Okay, we got cards and stickers. Come on. I try to be gentle. I try. All right, so to give away a little secret, if you want to get an old XP machine going for old games, get your... It has instructions on where to peel. Peel here. Get on a secondhand old Mac Mini that has a Core 2 Duo or Core Duo or a Core Solo, and they will be plenty good enough to play old XP games on. So anyway, and then if you know somebody who can spruce them up from there, or contact me, because I know how to. Yeah, trading cards, no back on that one. I guess these are one-sided. All right, single-sided trading cards. These must be our main characters. There, matching them up. All right, cool stuff. I will care about these characters more after I read the book. Right now, they're just strangers. So, speaking of the book, there we go. I don't mind the art style, so here we go with some credits. Created by Luke Stone and Piper Steed. Steed. All right. She doesn't look like a horse. All right. Anyway, art by John Dillard. Cool. Okay. But it will look like a Mac Mini. You don't have to install Apple on it at all. You're going to look ridiculous having one of those things in your bedroom, especially after Pride Month is over. Oh, you mean a Mac? Yes. Yes, I feel the scorn. Art by John Dillard, so that's cool. He's good. We had one unwrapped from John Dillard last week. That was Canadian Shield the accessory book, the Northern Chick from Canadian Shield. Anyway, colors by Edgar Tavitas, never heard of him. Letters by Eric Weathers. Well, they better be good. Edited by Luke Stone. Oh, Luke edited this? Well, there goes all hope right there. All right, anyway, take a look. At least it has an editor. I have no idea what's going on here with the foot play. Maybe I think they're siblings. You know, if I could go back in time, like right now, and just reread the promo for this book, I could speak more coherently about it. So we're just going to look at some art. Heading out the airlock. Did this need to be a splash page? Okay, maybe it helps the pacing, the turn pages, or the page turns. Another splash page. Sorry, I'm going too quick. Whoopsies. Wait for that to pop up so I can click on it, Mo. There we go. Had the world's most punchable protagonist. I'm going to assume it's this guy because he's got that punchable face right there. Is he whiny? I hate a whiny protagonist, which means you'll like this, Mo, which means I find the beginning 5 episodes of all anime to be incredibly annoying. In Attack on Titan, I hated Eren the whole time. All right, here we go. Yes, that guy. This guy. Thanks for the spoiler. Punchable protagonist. Well, I see the layouts look readable. I mean, there's lots of text in this one. It looks like we're saving visual shots for where they need to be visual, kind of, and talky places for where they need to be talky. Then again, lots of, if there are two, I don't mind double page spreads or DPSs like this. I know. I saw the campaign. Anyway, I don't mind DPSs and splash pages. I hope they're not used to excess, because that's when you're just expanding the page count. So I hope that's not what's going on here. They need to serve the story. So space people find Aboriginal people. Okie doke. All right. It looks serviceable. We'll find out what she's up to. And just so it's more visible, this, I believe, is Piper's cover. There we go. So you take a look at that. She tried her hand. Oh, that's right. This was the Bulge special cover. And it looks like in this version, she tried to hide that with some swimsuit strings. So yeah, I think the Bulge sizes need to be switched between these two. All right, let's get this put away. Away with you. So some things while I'm putting that away, some things I forgot last week at the end of. Okay, I talked about Akira and Tetsuo. Some literature is valuable even if it happens to come from Japan, which is unfortunate. But let's see. My old church, they were turning, and these are just notes I wrote down from thoughts I forgot. They were turning me from a Kaneda into a Tetsuo. So if you've seen Akira, you kind of get the idea. I was not aware at the time that I was dealing with PTSD, like both Kaneda and Tetsuo deal with in the story. Many at the old church made PTSD worse, and for that I have to say, if this is the whole congregation, it was this many people, just so you know. Getting away from this is probably why I wrote these notes. Getting away from abusive situations helped start healing twice, both after home and then again after church, after my time at that church. So yes, I find a lot of people who are having troubles, we kind of hammer on them way too hard to get better, but they don't. And the reason is they need to be out of that environment sometimes to get better. And it takes a while to get over a hump. And that's what happened with me. So finishing off those little notes from last week. Thanks for the link, Rift Riders. If it's still alive. Is this on Fund My Comic or is it no Indiegogo? Gotta put this aside. It is such a mess in here right now. over the weekend I started filing comic books away. Save those. And because after I read something, it'll go to one of two boxes. One is just put it away. It's done. Go to cold storage. Sorry. My main collection is a bunch of boxes of stuff I've read, cold storage, and then stuff I haven't read. There, bigger. Here. Stuff I've read and stuff I haven't read. So like that. And, I just process through. But once I read a book, I might set it aside that maybe I'll talk about it on stream or finally film a review. I still have to keep a promise to Eric NINALTOWSKI. But then I'm looking at the chat, by the way, so I do know you guys are alive sometimes. And then, or it'll go to just put this away. And then if I do a review or something, it goes to the put it away box. And so with that in mind, the put it away box was full, so I started moving things to cold storage this week. And yeah, my house is such a mess right now. Because I didn't get that done over the weekend. Because I got 50 other things to do. So, oops, sorry. Oh, so this is what it is. You know what? This looks better in person in colors. The colors are, I like the deeper blues. They're not all the same. So we're not lost in over similarity. A little more turquoisey in the sky than on the shirt and pants. But there, found a place for it. Yeah, so a haunted pizza book from Preston Polton. No, that's wrong. Mark Polton. There we go. I saw Presents and thought Preston Polton. There we go. Who's Preston? Acevedo. Sorry, I'm getting the Preston Acevedo covers of Exiled, so I have Preston on the mind for that. I think that's a magnet. Oh, cool. Nice magnet with 6 a.m. comics' artwork. I hate to get my greasy little hand in there. There we go. So what's that? Never live up the fight. Oh, never give up the fight. Okay. Duh. President Polter. I don't know. That sounds familiar, but I don't care. It's the wrong guy. 25 cents. What? Right. Signed, of course. So let's see. You guys can read that. I got Polton, Oliveira, George, and Weeks. Lee Weeks worked on this? No way. So there are 2 other prior Sea Dog books, and then this guy is new. Oh, they're both signed. There's another signature right there. You almost had him pegged. Oh, yeah, that guy. All right. Gee, thanks for the memories. Writer, artist, colorist, letterist, Dexter Weeks. This is the A cover by Fredson Oliveira and Anthony George, who are, yeah, they're just the same as the interior artists. I do like the color selection. So I don't know why this is faded. I mean, it's for effect, but get to that. Looks like he's got the timing. Uh-oh. So the face of our main character is cut off in the gutter. That's not good. Just, this is not a good double-page spread arrangement. Sorry, guys. Oliviera. So, girls. This looks like a flashback the way it's colored. I hope the coloring gets to be more like that. So outside of this, I mean, it's well drawn. It's just not well arranged because you don't want that here. And then should like where should you put the slice that so that it doesn't destroy information? We've got him. We need to see the hero for an introductory page. We've got 2 people chasing him. Yeah, this is not great. So we're coming out of some kind of memory. Again, faded color. That's odd. If I knew the story, I would understand why. Well, it is raining here, so that makes sense. Yeah, it looks like there's just a little bit of light tone over everything, except, well, even the blacks have a little bit of, and I mean a very tiny bit of like white haze, like when the brightness on your screen is too much. That proof should have gone back to the printers with new specs. You know, Bancroft, he put up, I should have saved this stream of his, or this video of his. I think I could probably find it, but it had to do with when you're converting from RGB to CMYK or vice versa. And I think it's RGB to CMYK, and then you give your specs to the printer for your print file, how just to make sure your blacks are not a blend of colors, but are in fact black, and then you double it up, like that kind of thing. So yeah, this look. When I was a little kid, we had a lamp really high in the living room or family room, and if you tried to watch TV, it was always shining in your eyes, but it lit up the whole room. And this reminds me of that. I hate this, but yeah, this is all very glared over, but that makes sense because of whatever is exploding here. It doesn't make sense here. It makes sense for this panel. So things look a little desaturated, and not just in the flashbacks. This is okay, actually. This is one panel. All right, this is the final page. That's Viking Wolf. Just a moment. Okay, so apparently Mark Polton is going to have a universe on his hands. So yeah, I'd say just a first glance, the two big negatives are the double page spread is arranged poorly at the beginning, and we got some extra fan art or covers, whatever. I think it's fan art, but that's arranged a little poorly at the beginning, and the colors seem too desaturated at places. See, like even here, looking at my screen with the way the camera sees it, it's actually a bit darker than how it seems here. Even if I move that lamp, yeah, it doesn't make that's not hurting anything. See what else we got. Yeah, I think you're right, Mo. Yes, it's true. Bancroft is always sure to segregate the blacks, and double them for some reason. He wants them separate and twice as many. He's a weirdo. Oh, you know what? This looks like a flip book. It is. So let's see what's on the backside. There's Viking Wolf. That is not Dojo Kun's character. That's somebody else. And what else we got? Okay. Other characters we've already seen. There's the one from Loose Ends. Or Loose Threads. So yeah, we've got a little story back here. Universal. Oh yeah, that's right. This is the one Universal Initiative. Okay. Sorry, the dyslexia is kicking hard when I get logos like that. Yeah, it's right there. The Universal Initiative. Drawn by John Malin. Okay. It's a little bit less of the things I don't like about Malin going on in here, where all of his jaws look like robots, like her jawline. It's okay. Yeah, very 90s style right here, which we'll get to more. Oh, no, we won't get to more of later because that's a different book. Oh, it looks narrated, but... it's more of a preview. All right. So, yeah, he's got some well-arranged art here. I have something in mind because I was reading the wrong books this week, but this being 90s style is fine. I read Shelby Roberts. I started reading Shelby Robertson's book. I'll just do that part now. Okay. So thank you very much, Mark Bolton. Oh, and sorry about getting the name wrong at first. That's really embarrassing. I'm still trying to find a sleeve to keep this in. I did buy it damaged, but I don't want it dinged up more, you know. So you put stuff away. So being so busy this week with dismantling and reassembling and researching computer parts, I started losing track of what I was supposed to read next. So, Garbage Pail Kids. You know what? I'm gonna have to flip that over. This one sticks to the bag. There we go. Sticker. Anyway, so I started reading like a bunch of different books, and I totally lost track of what I'm really intending to do. That's not useful. And so I totally forgot the book I wanted to read, which was Samson the Nazarite. So we'll get to that. All right. So I'm going to open this guy. Nothing in the back. Oops. This was a little bit of a surprise because the turnaround was so quick. Oh, there's tape all the way across it. Dang it. Get the knife. There we go. Oops, sorry. So yeah, my head is all full of things I wanted to say about Shelby Robertson's book, but we're not doing that one this week, and that's good because I didn't finish it. What do we got here? Okay, that's way down there. Come on. Oops, sorry. Neat. Final Form. Huh. By Richard Wile. Wiley? Wile. Richard Wile. Cool. So, I like this guy's artwork, and it's related a bit, not just because it's really, really creative, or I think it's creative, but it's related a bit to why I like trading cards. So way back in 92 or 93, when I was getting I think it's the 92 Fleer, oh man, I split the tape. The 92 Fleer X-Men, I noticed, looking back on it, not at the time, but looking back on it, I noticed one of the things I like about things like trading cards is they let my mind go to a different place where everything I can, I can imagine things without having to have fully formed stories. It just kind of lets my mind wander, and I really appreciate those. So that was nice. So this is called Final Form, and Mo, I know that Final Form is a term familiar to people who are into Dragon Ball Z, but that's not what this is about. Oh, holy cow. Hey, a print. This is cool. There you go. I believe it's upside right that way. So yeah, I think this guy's little art career is pretty cool. Apparently, he's also big in he's also big in Portland, I've heard. I guess. Okay. So what is Final Form that I know of from the sales on his website? This is showing pairs of images like this, and opposite each other. One of them will be like the sketch, and then the other will be the finished. Actually, I'm not sure which is which. Just a moment. Left page, original sketch. Right page, final illustration. Okay. So Thursday, November 26th in 2020, and then Saturday, December 12th. So this was Thanksgiving Day 2020, and this was a couple weeks later. So his original sketch right there. And I read, I think on his website, that he does sketches with a ballpoint pen. Oh, wait. An understand with the DBZ reference title. I don't know that he's actually referencing Dragon Ball Z, but you got it. The inked version is the Final Form. Let's see. I'm not sure if I can read this all to you. Process it's extremely rare in my drawing process. It's extremely rare to say that I see anything in my head. Almost nothing is pre-visualized. That's odd. Okay, so I love his little characters because they're imaginative themselves and they let my mind wander. But here we go. Almost nothing is previs. About 98% of my arc was made up on the spot through free association or automatic drawing, which is kind of like how trading cards make me think. Okay. Every now and then, I might see an image in my mind as I fall asleep, but those are scarce. Filling sketchbooks is my main practice for developing ideas and imagery. I'm only going to read the first paragraph here. To begin, I lightly scribble on a page and look at the lines. Pardon me for misusing this. And look at the lines until I see shapes, maybe a figure or a face, and then I start to darken the line work and make the shapes more defined until the image becomes clear. I don't enjoy materials that are easily lifted or interrupted. So sketching in graphite or charcoal is not preferable. That's what he means by lifted, because you can take erasers to get the graphite or charcoal off the page. Whoops. I just knocked a chapstick into my water. All right, dry my hand. Just a moment. So for those of you who don't know, art supplies, traditional art supplies, this is a kneadable eraser. Knead like K-E-N-A-D. Mine, I've let this sit too long without playing with it. Anyway, as you pull it apart, it takes the rubber and opens it up and makes it sticky again. I've also done this over white paper, and you can see the graphite falling out of it. But you need the eraser to get a piece like that, and then you can pick up charcoal and pencil with it, like so. Anyway, I should play with that more often. All right, whoops. This way to read. I like this. This looks like a mountain. A landscape. And over there. Yeah. Okay. I lightly scribble. So sketching in graphite or charcoal is not preferable. All my sketches are done in ballpoint pen with no option for erasing. Okay. When creating a finished piece, there are two paths to it. Sometimes the image is directly sourced from a sketch I partially enjoy or connect with. I simply pick up a blank sheet and use free association to make up a new image on the spot. If you look through the collection of my finished work, there's almost a cheat code to see how each image was made, and then I'll stop there. All right, so let's see what this is. The rubber opens it up and makes it sticky again. Sounds like something went very wrong. I'll just take that off my screen. So, yeah, cool. Oh, it's a wraparound cover. So that's very cool. The mountain on it. So let's see what he's got. It's just opening randomly. Another soul. So a sketch over here, final over there. He's got dates. Date unknown is what's written down there. So this was Sunday, February 21st, 2021. This one, Autumn's Guide. Oh, because he's a pumpkin. Started out as a skull. All right. Is this candy back there? It looks like a mountain of candy. Yeah. Oops. I'm not going to show them all. I will flip through this. Cool. Yeah, this one took on. In person, you can see a lot of. Is that the prior page? Set that aside. Yeah, you can see a lot of random sketchy things floating around there that aren't in the final, and of course, more detail added and texture. Yeah, what do you guys think of all these little characters? In Clear Light of Errand. What's the title on this one? Here you just see the paper texture all over here, so that's why it looks kind of gray on the camera. And pyramids. And this is in mountains. Okay. So let's see, there's a note. He sent a note. Let me see if it's something I can read. Okay. Blue. It occurred to me, because this is when I stopped by and visited him, because he needed computer help. I should have shown you some of my ashcan zines while you were in town. I'm out of town now, but hey, there's one right here. 4 sketchbook collections in the last 4 months. Whoa. So he has volumes 1 through 3 for sketchbook material. Volume 4 is about showing sketches next to the finished. Okay. And he sent final form. Nice. Brief intro about my drawing process. Okay, cool. Well, thank you. That's really neat. You just wanted to share more of his art with me. Oh, there's a little dude here. Looks like a mummy. Like a very squarish mummy. Let's see. Liar's Courage is the title on that one. Cool. Okay. That's the wrong one. There we go. Good luck with your hot judo business. What did he mean by that? Okay, I just sat through a class today about for getting my my CPR cert again because I need it for some of my training certs. By the way, training certs and licenses are not certifications and vice versa. So just so you don't mix them up. But one of the women in our CPR class, because it's a small class, it was like 7 people. They hold these every month at the gym I go to. The fire department comes by and teaches them. But one of the women in there, we're all like, why are you getting yours? And she runs a hot yoga class in addition to however else she introduced herself. So, oopsies. This is really, I really appreciate this card. That is so cool. I don't know if this is up any of your guys' alley, but I did put the link to his website in the description before the stream started. And I forgot to put the link for Samson the Nazarite in the description, so that's up further in the chat. Okay, don't get the sticky stuff there. Gonna have to give him unsolicited advice on which bags to buy. Is not the ones with the sticky on the tab, but the sticky on the body. Oops. One more thing. Business card. Yeah, just like Andy Smith and Eric NINALTOWSKI, his at, I think it's going to be Instagram, is Richard Wile Art, and I'll just type that in here. Pardon me. And I got one more, and then I will open up next big book. Or no, I will show another book I have. So we're going to start getting into reviews. Let's see, Richard. Wile. Can spell that. Art.big. Oh. I don't mind cartel. Yeah. If I got that right. Hold on. Taking a moment to, I know this seems like a waste of time, but it's good to give people's brains a break. What? Oh, I think that's my fault. All my security software. No, I typed it because I can't spell that. And yeah, copy. 80 show just ended. I can give the stream my full attention now. I never expect that of you. I expect you to give all the attention that you can in the moment, no matter what that moment is. Okay, there it is. There's his site where you can see more of his art. Is now in the chat. Cool. Thank you. So I was supposed to go over so many different books. I've been trying to read Nephilim Squadron by Hex Allen. I've been trying to get into like twice now. 94 by Shelby, and I have like other 94 type books here. figure out what those are again because I forget. I ran across this one in my box and I'm like, I should do this guy's book. And then, we need to flesh out the werewolf book. It has been ADHD is not fun. Let's just leave it at that. Set this aside. So, first book to review, and then I got one more to open. What a coincidence! I just got here. Wrong one. Hi, Hex. I try to read your book, and then I don't. So, look, it's another one of those hands. I think that's either a sticker or a business card. It's business card. Yep. I didn't look on the back of the other one. All right, so when I first clued into this guy's artwork, he had a little storybook. I need water. Now, he doesn't do sequentials. I know because I asked him once. Go away, trash. And he doesn't do sequentials, but he's somebody you would want as like a cover artist or a pinup artist if you're into this kind of more simpler figure thing. But he did put a short story to one of his things. Boop. Let's see. I hope it fares better than I saw. Looking at the art, I'm already more into it than I am I saw. I'll give you that much. Nephilim Squadron right there. Cool. Yeah. Yep. Why are you asking, Mo? I have it right here. Anyway, it's a ghost story. It's a very cute little story. It's simple, but it has a moral to it. And he's illustrated. I love maple leaves. Or leaves. It's about a girl who walks home from school normally a certain way, and then she could take different ways, and she cuts through a wood this particular day and happens upon a house, which is haunted. So I'm going to be showing you his artwork while I summarize most of the story. And they're surprised that she's not scared. So one key to the story is why she's not scared. So I don't want to spoil that. But then she talks with the ghosts who are surprised that she's not scared, and she finds out why they are trapped as ghosts, and she does what she can to help them be free. And then there's a lesson in that. So why she's not scared and then how she helps them be free are kind of two little morals to the story, as it were. This is like Slimer needs new dentures. I like this guy. So there you go. And this is how the ghosts appear to her. These are drawings of all the different ghosts. And then finally she goes home. Is it because she's a ghost too, right? I'm not spoiling it. Thanks for the nightmares. I don't want to give you nightmares. Is that because these are kind of spooky? I was able to ask Richard while I was working on his computer something, and we were just chit-chatting. I forget how this came up. It wasn't a direct question, but a lot of his drawings are not like evil, and they're not for horror movies. How did they die in the woods? Was it the day the grizzly bears had their picnic? No, you gotta giving away spoilers. What are you doing? And no, she is not a ghost. In fact, that's not the last page. Yeah, that's the last page. She opens the front door. The house smells like cinnamon sugar. That's the last line. So cool. So yeah, there's that dude's stuff. I got number 5 out of 31. It's a good little story. It's a good little read. I'd say go support the dude if you like that kind of thing. His website has like stickers of it, or stickers and stuff like that on it, some of which are colored. All right, set that aside. I like the story. It's more than quaint. It's better than just quaint. It's actually got heart to it. Meanwhile, Bible comics. So before we get to that, so this is Samson the Nazarite being put out. Oh, and they have another book, Gideon, the Hand of Midian. I have not read this. Reading this book brought back memories. So the first thing I'll try to clarify is I used to... Oh, wrong book. I got the wrong book out. Pardon me. I used to go to Bible studies where people would do the dumbest crap. And it would be things like, well, the passage kind of reminded me of a thing. Therefore, that thing that I was reminded of is what the passage means. That's extremely postmodern and stupid. You know, it's like the sky is blue. Oh, that doesn't mean blue is the color of the sky. That means because it reminded the sentence reminded me of my grandmother's pearl necklace, that it's really about my grandmother's pearl necklace. This is totally postmodern. It's absolute crap. And there are, you know, college kids' stupidity getting into this kind of thinking because it's how society is going, and they're now applying that to the Bible. It's ridiculous. Anyway, first printing. Okay. Oh yeah, the Grizzly Bears Picnic. It's a tie-in. It is a tie-in. You spoiled that already. So she wandered into the house that smelled of cinnamon and sugar. Were they the ghosts of Hansel and Gretel? Man, you guys have like spoiled this entire thing. Thanks, Mo. All right, let me get some water before I go off on things. So this is where we're going to get really, really heavy into this. This is well written in terms of being a comic. I don't mind the historical fiction liberties that the author is taking. I love the fact that there's a map right up front. So when you say he went to Gaza, there's Gaza, very legible. And then from Gaza he went to Ashkelon. That's right here, totally legible. You know, so pretty good there. You know, what are you doing in Gath? Here's Gath. Like, it's everything's good. This volume 1, was written by Louis Serrano, pencils by Nadir Balan, inks by Mostafa Moussa. Anyway, Nadir Balan, also pencils and inks, and then Liesel, L-I-E, or Liesel, L-E-Z-L. The E's have a certain thing in the font. They have like a dangly thing in them. So I'm Buenaventura. There we go. Hey, I read it. Lettering by Martin Murtron with contributions by James Reed. All right. I did find a lettering error in here. First off, I think Volume 1, the art is great. It does change style because he changes artists for Volume 2. Sometimes indie production is really difficult, but this is a really well-drawn book. And this would be, yeah, Nadir Balan, B-A-L-A-N. One lettering error I found, if I forget it later, is there's a point where some of these word balloons are like right on the gutter, and it just, there we go. Agreed. If I want someone to interpret Bible passages for me, I'll leave it to the experts like Salty the Singing Songbook and Wisdom Tree Games. So to fictionalize this, I did go start reading chapter 13 onward of Judges to double check things. I didn't get a good read out of it, but I scanned over it. To fictionalize this, we have a prisoner being brought in, and he's thrown in the dungeon with Samson. I think this prisoner is totally fictional. And then another fictionalization we have here, I have the Bible software open. I can actually just present, share screen. This will not be a Bible study, don't worry. Is that going to work? Share. That better not be a video. Why is that? Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, for some reason this software does not like being shared. Stop screen. Cool. All right, anyway, Judges, end of chapter 13. After his wedding. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We'll get more into the wedding later. I just don't want to forget this part. Samson's wife, this is after he flips out after the wedding, which we'll get to as I go through the story. Samson's wife was given to his companion who had been his best man. That's it. That's all it says. Okay, that is expanded into, and there could be apocryphal sources for this. Samson as a child happening upon a kid getting bullied and beat up. And so he saves the kid and beats up the three bullies, and they meet up later in life, and that guy becomes his best man. Like, that's totally fictionalized. There's nothing wrong with adding that. Why do I point it out, though, is there's a lot of stuff in here, like Samson's life as a child, talking with his mom. The stuff his mom says is essentially the author preaching at the audience. Are you sure you want to close the Bible study software? I did not. It's still open. Are you sure you want to talk about a guilt trip? I'm just going to leave that there. That's really good. Are you sure you want to close? Oh, guilt trips are huge, especially if you're Catholic. No, anyway, I was raised Catholic, and one of my sisters is always on about being raised with guilt. But yeah, they meet up later in life. He's bigger and more square-jawed and everything than Samson is. I think that's hilarious because Samson's supposed to be the strong dude. Anyway, so adding fictionalizations in here, one of which is a framing device, so that the narration changes from this, which has a paper texture behind the words, made it a little harder to read, to Samson narrating all over here, but it has the same paper texture behind. If you're going to have a different voice narrating, you need to change the background. And maybe it's a lighter color, but barely. It's the same texture, just slightly lighter. Okay, I think the art in this is just excellent, superb. We get some so notes about Bible studies and church and whatnot. Oh boy, if your and I'm sorry. Okay, so the first thing is A reminded me of B, therefore A really is B. No, that's crap. I don't like that they gave Samson a crew, because surely his boys would have clued him in about that Jezebel and Delilah. Okay, they gave Samson a crew. I'm gonna wait for the wedding to say what I think you mean by that, giving him a crew. But I can just say it now. When he gets married, he's alone. I mean, his parents are there in the story, but in the Bible, because he's alone, they give him a whole bunch of guys from the town to be on his side of the wedding, opposite the bridesmaids. And a lot of stuff like that was common in this culture. Like, there were professional mourners. Oh, these are close, but not the problem. The lettering right here. Anyway, professional mourners, for example, would go and mourn and wail and weep professionally. Like I don't mean they do it well professionally. I just mean they were hired and paid to do so at anyone's funeral. So they're we're having a wedding, get in here, be on the groom's side is probably more common in that culture. So that's what he's referring to as giving him a crew. The boys would have clued him in about Delilah. Yeah, that comes up later. We actually don't even get to Delilah in this book, but we don't get to Delilah till book 3, I think, which I'll open in a moment. So anyway, back to Samson and whatnot. The fictionalizations are fine. It's a framing device. Let's see. Oh yeah, another problem in preaching is what I think of as the error that happens in grammar. So in grammar, we have people who make an error, and then people don't know that's an error, so they take it as a norm, even if it doesn't make sense. This is especially true with sarcasm, irony, and figures of speech. So we have people now who do satire or parody or sarcasm, or I'm being ironic, and you have the thing that's normal. Okay, then you have the parody version, and people will pass around a phrase like pulling a Homer is a phrase referring to The Simpsons, but then that phrase gets used by the next generation, which is like 5 years later in linguistic terms, because we're so uneducated. People don't know where things came from, therefore they don't know what they actually mean, and they just grab the phrase with what seems to be the contextual meaning. What's even worse, a bad example of this is there are people who use sarcasm and irony, such as giving somebody a thumbs up when you don't mean it online, and you're saying it sarcastically, so really you mean a thumbs down. There has been a movement to remove the thumbs up emoji from online chat technologies, whether that's in your phone or instant messenger, if anybody still uses that, or like on Twitter, for example. And the reason being that the next generation, let's say 5 years younger, is now confused and thinks that anytime they see this, somebody's being sarcastically negative at them because it was used sarcastically in the first place. And the question was, yeah, but do you know what the normal meaning is? And the answer was always no. They know it's sarcasm. They, thank you. They know it's sarcasm, but they aren't intelligent enough to know what the opposite of sarcasm would be. How stupid of a generation are we raising? I'm not kidding. This is what I was reading, that they want the thumbs up removed because they claim to never understand if it's being used not sarcastically, and they know it's an insult, but they don't know what the not sarcastic meaning would be. It would mean good job. Like, what the? How can you be this damn stupid? Okay, let's see. I won't use sarcastic thumbs up because then idiots might think I'm stupid. Right. That's exactly. Well, guess what? The same thing happens in churches because pastors suck. There are tons of pastors who feel the call to be in the pulpit. Bullshit. They do not belong in pulpits. All right. Most Christians nowadays talk like they're Jedi, that they feel a force or something like that. No, we have to, and this is all like this is all because I was reading this book and I got reminded of things. Not that the book is guilty of them at all. I just got reminded of things. So anyway, people feel the call. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, pastors will paraphrase to make their point. So they're not teaching the Bible; they're teaching their ideas, and then they'll paraphrase something out of the Bible to make their point. But the problem is the listeners now take the abbreviated version as the norm rather than the text, and that goes so far even to the point where, because of sitting and listening to bad teachers teach, and it appeals to emotion, when they go back and read the text, they have problems getting that twisted version out of their head. It's disgusting. Reading comprehension is just in the toilet. So anyway, add to that, we get teachers like, there's some chick in, I think she's in Phoenix, or yeah, XP Media, I think is her site. Patricia King. I want to say her name is Patricia King. She and Beth Moore. Beth Moore is a hugely popular evangelical writer and speaker, and she claims not to be preaching. Oh no, she is horrendously preaching. Okay, sounds like Blue had a pastor compare Samson to Rapunzel. They do that. I'm not serious. There is a sermon I've heard on trying to make Kung Fu Panda into a Christian story. It's disgusting. Like, let the panda be, man. Leave the panda. I'm going to type that in because I just want to leave the panda alone. There you go. So yeah, this is ridiculous stuff. So there are major problems in evangelicalism, which comes back around to this is a fun book. As a comic book, it's well written. It gets the story elements in there. Yet it fills into so many things, and with the mother lecturing her son at 2 points, I think it's at 2 parts of the story. Excuse me a minute, I'm having allergies. Okay, had to mute for a moment. Cough things up. Okay, don't take this as the root for your theology, and I'm saying that not because you 4 or 5 people listening to me would take your theology from a comic book version of the Bible, but I say that because it is so popular nowadays to develop theologies, like whole theologies with a lowercase t, not capital T theologies, which is specific. Oh God. In theology, you have different sections, like study of man is anthropology, and then study of God is theology, capital T, and then like end times is eschatology. Okay, don't take your theologies, the broad sense of the word, from what you might read that a character said in a comic book, because there's plenty of text in here that's not from the Bible. The mom lecturing, for example, they don't fully give what a Nazarite vow is, so you only get a mild sense of that. Let's see. Samson, all right. So here, all the Bible says is he went to this other town. It doesn't say why. And I would fault slightly relative to what's going on in evangelicalism. So I'm not going to pick on the writer too hard. He has passages in here where Samson is narrating and he's telling them, I mean, I thought this was this. I'll get to why this is bad in a moment. Okay. Here is Mom's lecturing him again. Where is? Oh, I think it's in book 2. Nope, here it is. Okay, it's the end of book 1. I ran with the speed beyond that of any man or beast. I did not know where I was heading. This is Samson in prison narrating to the scribe who's in prison with him. But the spirit he led me should be a capital H. And okay, the typo, capital A, lowercase h, capital L. That's reversed. Anyway, but the spirit he led me. Spirit should also be capitalized. The spirit's countenance was unlike before. His desire to quench what I would best describe as righteous anger drove me. The rage I had from my betrayal did not compare with the wrath of the spirit. Okay, he's missing all the traditional capitalization here, but that's fine. This is not in the Bible. This is where we're getting to what evangelicals do. And a big thing, if your preacher, a big thing is this. If your preacher is, did blue just, yes, I'm allergic to BS. It's not just oldology, it's theology. Okay, any oldology. Yep. And by the way, go buy this book. It's very entertaining. So I'll get to that later. What's going on here is this type of claiming the spirit is on me. That's XP Media. Maybe the letterer is a heathen for all the lowercase. Yes. So this relates to both evangelicals thinking that they're Jedi and what they feel is God, and that is, must be God talking to them. No. And then this also relates to what preachers do that I just said is really big. Preachers try to say that the Bible's about you. No, it's not. You are not David. David is not a stand-in prefiguring you. In fact, the Bible, if you go to piratechristian.com, is it, I think? Anyway, the Bible is about God and Jesus. And yeah, a lot of these Old Testament figures prefigure Christ in a certain way. I'd say Samson's a bit of a stretch, and only in a small way, because I'll get into that more. He's very foolish. Yeah, Samson's a complicated character. He is not a role model. So, in fact, I heard one preacher I'm going to flip to the Bible here. He took Hebrews, I think it's 11. I know it's verse like 36, 37. So I'll just see if it's here. Others suffers mocking it. No. It's in the 30s. Maybe it's 12. But yeah, if your preacher tells you that the Bible, that David is, you just have to imitate David. It's all about behaviorism. Leave. Just leave. Don't put money in. Just leave. I'm waiting for that next one. Where are we? Shut your mouth, but I'm talking about Samson. He's a complicated man. No one understands him but his hairdresser. That is awesome. Okay, and by the way, I'm only going to talk about the first 2 books here. Very well drawn. So great art. The narration puts a lot of words in there that I think would appeal to evangelicals in a wrong way, where he's saying, "Oh, I felt the Spirit of the Lord." That's what people are doing now. In fact, if you go to, I can't find the Hebrews thing, so here's I'll do the Hebrews thing real quick off the top of my head. There's a verse in Hebrews that says, "Examine your pastor's or your elder's life," and the purpose of that in context is basically how are they living shows whether or not they're believers, and then imitate their faith. And I heard a preacher when I left my old church, the old pastor retired, a new pastor came in, and people said, "Oh, you got to go try this guy out." And I was like, "Eh." And I looked up his name, found out what church he came from, and listened to his last sermon where he came from. And this was in that sermon, and it's absolute trash. What he did was he dissected that like word by word by word in Greek and all these side notes and everything. He overstudied it to the point of absolutely missing the point of the passage. And when he got through it, he did a phrase at a time, examine the pastor's life, and he preached that as like putting the pastor on a pedestal. I'm like, whoa, where's that coming from? And then by the time he got down, like 5 minutes later, when he got down to the second half of the verse, I thought he had a slip of the tongue where he said, "And imitate his life." So then he expounded on that and was talking about the behaviorism of you have to imitate your pastor's way he behaves. No, He just, for no reason in Greek, replaced the word faith that's in the text with life and preached try harder behavior, which is hopeless. Like, there's no grace in it at all. There's no elbow room. There's no forgiveness. It's just try harder behaviorism. If that's coming out of your church, get out of there. All right. This is one of the reasons why I stopped liking a particular comic creator way early on in the Comicsgate days. Was he would do little Bible study streams where, and he gets along great with other people who are his friends. That's fine. He would do Bible study streams, and his arrogant attitude reflected the kind of arrogance that this preaching promotes. And then his preaching was as bad as all the errors that I haven't even listed for you yet. So I just said, no, I'm not going to listen to this guy. So it's terrible stuff. It doesn't promote faith at all. But replacing imitate your pastor's faith with imitate your pastor's life, and then expounding on that to say it's not a slip of the tongue. He wants you to imitate behavior. That's disgusting. It's faithless stuff. So anyway, and what's the point of the Bible? If it's all about God and Jesus, the message is faith. And then behavior comes from faith. So, it has its place. You can look at it, but it's just mixing all kinds of things up. So anyway, this just was a walk down memory lane for me of all kinds of evangelical errors that aren't even in the book. So the book just reminded me of stuff. So here we go. I can't see the chat. Excuse me. I have a software open. Felix Haas is laughing at your hairdresser comment. If you put your pastor, he'll always look down on you. Yeah. My old pastor was so arrogant. Anyway, would you describe this comic creator as someone who doesn't allow others to shine because he wants to be the lone star? Oh, you mean the one I'm speaking about? Well, he may allow others to shine, but if he doesn't, perhaps he wants to be the lone star. I'll just say that much. Anyway, I do shy away from people who make these biblical errors. So pardon that the book is upside down. We're going to get into a little bit of length here. And super well drawn. Really appreciate that. Framing device to set the story up that Samson's already in prison. This guy is like, my people were killed from a ship that tried to take port with the Philistines. And so he's down here because he's a scribe. So scribes are more valuable. So they didn't kill him. They're going to sell him. These are two Hebrews in Philistine land. Now, for those who don't know, the word Palestine literally comes from the term Philistine in the Bible. It's the same word. So when you say, and if you're looking at the Palestinians as being all the descendants of Ishmael, Muslim stuff, no, they aren't. The descendants of Ishmael are actually very, very small in Middle Eastern families. But all this other stuff that came out in the 700s AD has kind of rewritten history in a lot of bad ways. Like Moses and Mary are contemporary of each other's. No, they aren't. Mary, the mother of Jesus. Anyway, so since, what are you doing down here? We got time to talk. And the scribe on his way into town noticed a festival is going on, and they're all talking about killing Samson. Have you heard of him? And he's like, yeah, that's me. So here he is, blind, and he starts back with his earliest memories, telling his life story. It starts with his dad. His dad always used to tell him the story of how he was born. All right. By their fruits you shall know them. You know what's really funny? In Luke 7, it's the one that SJWs always quote at you to try and emotionally manipulate you into behaving. It's judge not lest you be judged. That's in the same passage. That's funny, man. Anyway, in the same passage where that comes from, you'll know them by their fruits. He's actually not talking about general believers. He's talking about preachers and their fruits being what they preach. So, context so matters. Anyway, where are we? Oh, yeah. So how he's born, we get that over here. I really like how they drew this particular angel, even though this is supposed to be Jesus. If you read the Bible, when the Bible says an angel of the Lord, that just means one of God's angels. If it says the angel of the Lord, that's a pre-incarnate presentation of Jesus. That's Jesus showing up in Old Testament times. All right. So he's going to come down again and be shown here. So a little artist mistake, because people just don't happen to know this. Anytime there's a pre-incarnate Christ, Jesus shows up pre-incarnate, he has a sword every time. So when you see the angel of the Lord with his sword, that's Jesus visiting the earth before he's born as a man. So anyway, this dude should have a sword on him. And they go through their thing. It gets into more theology and whatnot on why they're doing what they're doing, but they're making a sacrifice. He gets into what a Nazarite vow is supposed to be. I think in this point, part of the book, there are quotes from, like what he's saying is actually just straight up from the text. So that's good. And then and then they perform their sacrifice, and he flies out of their sacrifice. There's other theological significance to that. So while I complained about a lot of mistakes evangelicals make, I'm not prepared to get into all the theological significance going on here. Anyway, you are not David. David is not prefiguring you metaphorically so that you can metaphorically slay your Goliaths by trying harder. That is such crap. David prefigures Jesus slaying the devil for you. It's a gift. It's on your behalf. It's not that hard. And how do we know this? Because on the road to Emmaus, after Jesus rose from the dead, he tells the two guys there who are leaving Jerusalem going down to Emmaus, he talks to them and shows them, before he identifies himself to them, he shows them how the whole Old Testament is about him, pointing to him. That's what it says in the end of Luke or beginning of Acts. All right, anyway, use that as your interpretive text. So anyway, so here we get a little, sorry, allergies. Talk about bad theology, I get allergies. So here we get a jump from he's a baby to he's growing up, and he sees the bullying scene I described earlier, so he makes a friend. And they never see each other again until they're adults. But good violence. The violence is well done here. No. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and it's intense. Like, some of these breaking ribs or whatnot, he broke a kid's jaw. Like, you're not recovering from that as you get older. Let's see. His mom warns him about fighting and whatnot. And when he gets older, he goes to join the military. He goes into training. I am looking at the chat. And then here he just decides to wander off one day. The real text isn't so clear about that. Let's go back. Get out of Hebrews. Judges. I need to remember to go to 1 Timothy later. Judges 14? No, 13. I'm in the wrong chapter. Oh, no. All right. 13 is just up through him being a baby. And then this whole thing about him going to military training is probably just because of that's typical for someone his age. And then it says one day he decided to go. And this is where I would not do this if I were writing this book. This gets into evangelical self-righteousness because evangelicals will imitate this. As I grew up, the Lord continued to bless me. Okay, fine. Then I came of age. Put that up. Please don't get into Romans or we'll be here all week. No, I won't. When I came of age, I went to train with the men of it looks like tram because of the font. Train with the men of war and the camps of Dan. He's of the tribe of Dan. My dreams woke me early one morning, so I took a walk. Not in the Bible. I was traveling on the northern route when the Spirit of the Lord began to stir me. And there's this little shiny thing out there. This simple act, what act? The Spirit of the Lord or him going for a walk? All right, that simple act set into motion an amazing series of events. By the way, I really appreciate the landscapes here. Ding. Ding. So here we have Samson talking a lot like a modern day evangelical, and it just doesn't fit. The mentality doesn't fit what was back then. They didn't think like this. So too many people nowadays are saying like, I feel the Lord. No, you don't. I can tell by what's coming out of your mouth. And part of it is really simple like this. Somebody comes to you and says, you know what, God told me to tell you XYZ, and here it is in the text. All right, first off, the God told me to tell you is a way that these people are like, I'm special. See, God talks to me. If God wanted me to know, he could talk to me too. Oh yeah, but he uses other people. Do I know y'all? Okay, you're friendly. I dig the content, but have we talked online before? If anybody knows this guy, say hi. Or if you don't know the guy, say hi. I don't know you, neighborhood ninja. Or maybe I do, and I don't realize that's your name. So, hey. Anyway, yeah, so the whole God told me to tell you is now there's a spotlight on me. I'm special because God's talking to me, like that kind of crap. When really, if the point is the thing in the text, they would just come up and say, hey man, I thought this passage was relevant for you right now. And let the passage be itself for you. And that's it. You know, and some people take that and then they browbeat you with it, but no. So it's that kind of thing. That's sort of how Samson talks here, and I don't like it very much. All right. If I wish I had consulted on this book, really wish I had. So you get a lot of people nowadays who like Beth Moore. She gives lectures and she's like, well, I was putting my mascara on this morning and then I felt God tell me, and then she talks about having an argument with God. Like, what the hell? and then, well, of course, God's always right in the end. Well, yeah, duh. But she's insane. She's insane. Stop buying her books. Stop giving her money. Okay, starve her out. That's it. Anyway, but he does go to this city. The Bible does say that much. And I don't mind the framing stuff or the conversation he has here hooking up with his old buddy who says, hey, I recognize you. You're Samson. Do you remember me? No. And it's, I'm the kid you saved. And here, I'll show you around the city because you don't know your way around. Not in the Bible, but it helps make the book more natural. It's also a good way for us to get to know Samson's character. Samson is extremely foolish. All right. So even though he's blessed by God and chosen by God for a purpose, everything else that happens in the meantime is like, this guy's a jerk. But him being a jerk put him in the position to finally bring down things in the end, which isn't in these two comics. It's in the one I haven't unwrapped yet. So he sees this woman, not Delilah yet, totally falls for her, goes back to his parents, says, I want you to help me marry this Philistine woman. All right. So let's go back to the beginning of chapter 13. The people of Israel again did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, and so the Lord gave them into the hand of the Philistines for 40 years. God keeps his promises. He would warn them through prophets, repent, or I will punish the whole nation. Guess what? They didn't repent. He punished the whole nation. So anyway, there's a certain man, Zora, and that's Samson's dad. All right. And somewhere in here it says everyone did what was right in his own eyes, and that made it into the book. I think it's in the front here. There we go. Nothing ever is good that comes from everybody doing only what's right in his or her own eyes, because that whole reality is based on my feelings, and that's postmodernism and stuff like that. It always leads to terrible things. Oh wait, look at society right now, the direction we're going. Anyway, so they all know he's not supposed to be marrying a Philistine woman because that's just part of Hebrew law. In fact, if you want, I think prior to 2014, a lot of the stuff from Michael S. Heiser, I'll go get a fictional book he wrote real quick, was really good. Is it on the? Yeah, it's here. Okay, I'm coming. I'm back. Okay, Dr. Heiser recently passed away from cancer. He went offline with weeks to live, and so we presume he died pretty quickly after that. This is a fictional book he wrote based on the idea that that aliens are demons, and I won't get into all that right now, but I'm pretty convinced that that when everything the aliens tell you boils down to believe anything but biblical Christianity, like they don't care what you believe as long as it's not biblical Christianity. Like, that's kind of sketchy, because people with demonic experiences get the same message from demons, and people doing the I'm meditating and hearing from ascended masters, they all get the same message too. People dealing with aliens, they get the same, like, believe anything but, yeah, that's what led to the New World Order thing. No, I'm sorry, not New World Order. Pardon me. The United Nations. The United Nations is founded on theosophy, which is a religion which says, guess what? Believe what you want. It's all the same, but not biblical Christianity. Don't believe in that. Anyway, so he did go off the rails a bit in either 2013 or 2014. I'm not sure exactly how, because at that point in my life, I was no longer paying close attention to him. But prior to that, he had really great stuff. And he put out a book that I've read like half of. I dare you. I dare you not to bore me with the Bible. And it's about how we kind of misread some things here and there. Not everything he says is dead on, but he got me thinking really well. So I appreciate the guy, and I'm sorry to see he's gone. I'm also sorry to see how he went off the rails, but another day. Anyway, so Heiser, he pointed out something about way back when, something about the Israelites or the Hebrews and all the people around them. So to all the pantheological systems in the people around them, which were backed up by the mystery religions that later became Gnosticism or Gnosticism and alchemy, which are now being put back together. Go listen to James Lindsay about that. But they all had their main god and then like an envoy. So Jupiter had Hermes, or Zeus had Jupiter had Mercury, Zeus had Hermes, an envoy. These guys, because all these other peoples around the Israelites thought that the Israelites were weird because Yahweh, well, who's his envoy? Yahweh himself. In fact, if you read Exodus 34 really carefully, you can see the Trinity, the three in it, that there are three there. So anyway, then there's God outside, there's the Spirit passing in front of him, and one standing with incense. And anyway, I think that was it. I'd have to go reread it for sure, so don't hold me to that, please. But anyway, if you read Exodus 34 really, really carefully, it's in there. Anyway, so Heiser pointed out this linguistic thing, and he has some really cool material, especially on Gnosticism and proto-Gnosticism, and that came out to debunk not the Bible code stuff. That's another topic. He debunked that too, but it was the popular stuff with the Tom Hanks movie that came out from it. Anyway, oh, I can't see the chat. There we go. Now I see the chat. Very proper topics. I dig this, brother in Christ. Thank you. I've got to show that one. Come on, StreamYards, catch up. There we go. With blue, it's Yahweh or the highway. Leaving that one up for a while. Thank you, Mo. Anyway, so in terms of intermarrying and whatnot, you weren't supposed to do that as an Israelite. They had differences. Now, linguistically, they shared words, and that's really interesting when you get into Elohim and B'nai Elohim, the sons of gods, because Elohim was a general term for beings on the other side of that metaphysical veil. But then there's a usage of Elohim where you're not just saying, oh yeah, a god over there, but oh, the god, which is basically the head Elohim. In other words, God the Father himself, that kind of thing. So some of the context gives you the clarity there if you're looking at this in Hebrew. I don't read Hebrew, by the way. So moving on. Anyway, so you're not allowed to intermarry and mix. This Hebrew guy knows it, which is so funny that he's got more square jaw, like more superhero looks about him than Samson does. I think that's hilarious because Samson's kind of a superhero story in a way. It's at least a superpowered story. But you're not supposed to do this. So Samson is screwing up. Samson is not an aspirational hero like Superman. Samson is instead a cathartic motivational hero. Everything he does is unwise over and over again, and he's driven by his emotions to the point where it's to the detriment of a lot of people, but he still succeeds at the end in terms of getting rid of the Philistines who are punishing Israel, because the Philistine time to punish Israel was up. It was over. So moving on, we get to the story of Samson defeating the lion. Now, what's going on here is some stuff that's not detailed in the Bible, so it's a little bit added. His parents are walking with him, but they're slow for whatever reasons, and so he's going to cut through the long path to meet them at the same time where they're going to see the woman he's supposed to marry, he's not supposed to marry, or the woman he wants to marry, and this is where he kills the lion. This is really well drawn. I think this is great artwork, good job done. I think it's going to be a little bit gory. Yeah, El is a singular, Elohim is a plural. Mm-hmm. And I know if Heiser were still with us, he could explain it much better, but we do have him on video and all over the place. This is really cool. I mean, he tore off enough of the lion's throat, because your tongue attaches down right above. If you're a male, you have an Adam's apple there. Then, or if you have an Adam's apple, you're a male. But anyway, your tongue attaches to the bone that's right above that. It's called the hyoid. And so he ripped the jaw off the lion and down to in the throat where the hyoid is, because otherwise the tongue would be hanging off the down here. I know that's really gross. Somebody's going to put a barfing emoji in there real soon. Moving on. So well done. this well told. We get to the wedding. He is. They provide him with 30 people because he doesn't have, or no, 15 people. They provide him with 15 people, I think, because he doesn't. He's there without an entourage of his own for the wedding. But while they're going out and preparing, his mom sends him on a date so that he can get some time to get to know the woman he's going to marry. I believe this is a construct added in. That's fine. There's a riddle here to introduce the idea of riddles. I'm not sure that this is in the Bible. I don't think it is. I glanced over the Bible real quick before doing this. I wish I'd taken more time to read. But he challenges for a riddle, shows he can win, gets money out of it, etc. He challenges a riddle, offends the guy who's posing riddler, so they go for an athletic competition. He wins, gets money for his dowry. None of that's in the Bible. It's all cool though. It makes for good reading. And then goes ahead and gets married. And at the wedding feast, which is 7 days long traditionally, he poses a riddle to all the people attending there, and they don't like that because they can't answer it. And it was this bizarre. It doesn't show on StreamYards, but that's a barfing emoji. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anyway, his riddle I think is totally unfair, and it is. I got to read it for itself instead of from memory. So during the wedding party, he off to the side. It's my bookmark. His best man's telling a story. It's very typical. Out of the eater comes something to eat. Out of the strong comes something sweet. And he wants to know what is it. And that is in the Bible. And that is that is not a riddle. That is trivia of, I killed a lion in a field that none of you have walked in. And here's what it looked like when I went back and looked at the carcass. Now, part of the Nazarite vow is that he's not allowed to touch anything dead, and he's not allowed to drink wine. And he repeats that to people, and he doesn't drink wine or anything. He's also not allowed to cut his hair, but he doesn't say that part. Nazarite vow was supposed to be something temporary, but for him, it's his whole life. He is set apart. That's the whole deal. If somebody takes a Nazarite vow, they're setting themselves apart. Nazarite has nothing to do with from Nazareth. So if you see people preaching about Jesus was a Nazarite, no, he's a Nazarene. He was from Nazareth. That's a Nazarene. He was not a Nazarite. He never took the vow. At least not that I remember from anywhere. But if he did, you can take a Nazarite vow temporarily. Anyway, so he touched a dead thing. He got honey out of the carcass of the lion. He's always breaking the rules. And so God doesn't really... yeah, we don't see a lot of motive for like, how is any of this just? And so to clarify for the book, it's not. He is screwing up over and over and over again. But God blesses him anyway. So somebody once asked me to explain grace. When I was back in the old church, I got yelled at for show grace. I mean, I got screamed at about grace. It's not how you teach people to be graceful. I didn't grow in being more graceful to people till I left there. Gee, I wonder why. So, anyway, and it doesn't mean I've grown a lot, but I hope it's nice. Yeah, that's just not how you do it. So I went to some conference once, and we were talking at a side table, a bunch of us, and I said, yeah, I don't understand grace very much, but I wasn't the topic of the conversation. Somebody else was. And whoever I was talking to at that point, more people joined the conversation, and somebody wanted an explanation, so I repeated one that I knew. And it goes back to Noah. It says in the days of Noah, basically everybody was being evil. It doesn't say Noah was being better than everybody. It's just everybody was being evil. So that includes Noah. And then the phrase in Hebrew is, but Noah found favor with God. In other words, God just picked him. Sorry, had water. So God just picked him. That's grace. Everybody's being evil, but I'm gonna be nice to you anyway. That's giving somebody elbow room. Not being able to drink wine is a bigger deal in those days because they hadn't invented crack. Yes. See, this is my fellow theologian here. Anyway, screwing up over and over again sounds like most of us. Totally is. Absolutely is. All right. So the one thing we can take from Samson that we can apply to ourselves is, look, God, it's in God's character to be gracious and then fulfill promises, because he fulfills a prophecy through Samson in bringing down the Philistines. All right. And not just with the jawbone of an ass, but back to the wedding. So he gives this riddle that's not a riddle, totally unfair. His wife, comes to hate him. She, and this is in the Bible, she betrays him by getting the answer, manipulating the answer out of him to give to the guys so they don't lose the bet on the riddle, because everything's betting. They win the riddle, so he realizes she told them, and he gets angry, and he has to fulfill his side of the bet. So he just runs to the next neighboring city, and this is the part I read earlier about being filled with wrath and whatnot, which in his case, he calls it righteous and it's the power of God. No, it's selfish wrath. But he goes to the next city, which is a Philistine city, and he... Mo, you're terrible. Anyway, it's a Philistine city, and because the Philistines are to be destroyed anyway, it kind of makes sense that, you know, he runs through and kills 30 men, just runs through the city, killing 30 men to get their garments, because he owes the people from his wedding garments in order to pay the debt. He's also shown in this book freeing 2 Hebrew slaves, or captured Hebrew women as slaves. Not in the Bible, but whatever, it's fine. In fact, I don't mind it because even though it's not in the Bible, it still is a good allegory for Jesus freeing people from sin, stuff like that, or from slavery to sin, as it were. But he just kills 30 people to steal their clothes. That's it. They weren't doing anything directly to him. Some were, most won't, most weren't. Yeah, it just says, oh, wait, what chapter am I in? Judges, chapter 13, 14. But his wife, okay. And the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon him, it did, and he went down to Ashkelon, and struck down 30 men of the town, and took their spoils, and gave their garments to those, to those, it should say whom had, no, I'm sorry, to those who, oh, it is proper, sorry, to those who had told the riddle. In hot anger, he went back to his father's house. That's it. So that's what we see here. And it's like, that seems very unjustified. He could have also worked off the debt, but it was due by sundown. So there's this very strange vibe with the Samson story about, is he justified? Is he not justified? But ultimately, he's going to kill off a bunch of Philistines anyway. That's his purpose in life. So yeah, that's really a sticky situation. Get it, honey? Sticky. Samson just farming NPCs. Yes. Okay. So you get the whole vibe about how the book kind of reads relative to the regular text and things like that. I do want to show off the art. So we're not, I've blathered a ton here. So I should show off the art a little bit. In the second, whoopsies. Oh, they have different covers too. Like, I think that's might have been a cover, but this is also a chapter break in the next book. There were variant covers on the original site. So we open the second book, chapter 1, chapter 2, we get a synopsis, and the chapter break came at a good place, even though it's to change artists. And so this is a very different style, but it's fine. It still reads. I don't mind the style. It's a bit more cartoony, etc. I did not scan the text to see if the whole killing of a lamb here is why he tied up foxes, but there's a back and forth here where, looking like a Conan book. Yep. There's a back and forth where he wanted to go back to his wife. Actually, I'm going to narrate because I can summarize better. He wanted to go back to his wife. His mom talks to him about that here. He's finally not angry 9 months later. Goes back to the wife. Her father finds out that the father thought that the marriage was over after a week. And so they gave his daughter to the next person over, which happened to be his friend, the guy he saved as a kid. So he's feeling betrayed. So that's 3 betrayals now. The wife giving her to somebody else, and his friend accepting the woman as a wife. So he's pissed. And he vows to have his vengeance. So he ties up foxes to torches to burn their fields. Is this really justified? You know, this is just a time where everybody's evil. That's it. I mean, everyone sucks. In fact, the Bible says that all are sinners, everyone. So, and I like the artwork here. I totally like the artwork here. I mean, the landscapes I think are done well. So where the Bible actually says the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, well, he's there to kill Philistines. That's literally why he's alive. But then the people of this city, I forget the name of the city, want to take him out because he's burning their fields. He runs into his friend and, where's my wife? And he's like, I just found it because I was trying to put out your fires. I wasn't there to defend her, and they burned her because she's related to you. Oh, and she was pregnant. I don't know whose kid it is. So seeing as his wife has now been killed, he goes in and just starts murdering people in the city. That's chapter 1. So he starts a new life, and another city, I forget the name. Sorry, I'm rushing. They hear about him. They decide to send an army after him. The Hebrews come after him and say, we're going to tie you up. He's like, are you going to try and kill me? No. Okay, I'll let you tie me up. So he goes and faces more Philistines. The Hebrews deliver him to the Philistines, and he murders them. Like it's getting really bloody. So good adventure book, but you're going like, how is this guy a biblical hero? And I think it's the big thing that very nice art. Yes. I think it's the thing that not just here. Yeah. There's there. And something else was said earlier that, the big thing where you can apply Samson to yourself, because everybody's so big on application, is you're a sinner just like him. That's it. But people try to twist this into Samson is your role model for so many things. Maybe faith, but his faith is weird. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to accidentally say the wrong thing. So looking for doxing information. Nope. Okay. Blue, which is under my thumb. Thank you for buying our book. We hope you enjoy it. I threw in a couple extra of volume 1 as another token of our appreciation. Oh, okay. Cool. Was not expecting that. But so I went and ordered from their site the trade paperback and volume 3 just to make my collection complete. Let's see. This is okay. 2 different covers on number 1. Great. Thank you. And there we go. There's number 2 or number 3. I rubbed it a little. Oops, that's my fault. So they let's see. We got very nice art. We got to that. I am going to show their website show their website. They are selling. Yeah, make this separate. Share screen. This window, don't double click, add to stream. All right, so this campaign was weird. They did 1,000 copies. Oh, I can widen this, make it a little more visible for you guys. I'll read that in a moment. I'm trying to get my mouse on the. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, nice and wider. So the campaign is May 31st to June 25th. Oops, that's yesterday. God has already provided us with the perfect role model Gerbert. Is that the name of the baby? All right, shrink this window. All right, so their goal was to sell 1,000. They didn't quite, which is fine. Get my copy. And on this, they put, okay, they did this weird. I'm going to see if new tab. I don't know if you can still buy it here, but we can see off the screen. Yeah. So they very strange digital copy. That's fine. They numbered them all 0 to 999. And if you just want a book, you're going to get one of these. If you want a first, oops, I clicked that. Did not mean to click that. First edition. These are all first editions, but a lower number here because for some reason in comics the lower numbers are more valuable. I don't know why. Allegedly that means like the author signed it first. I'm over all that. I have to be first. Crap. $40. And then lower number again, $50, and now we're down to 250. So limited edition 250 and down to 101 with volume 3. Now they put out a bunch of coupon codes with this, which if you were on their mailing list ahead of time, you would have gotten one. And so that 85 is not what I paid, just so you know. But if you wanted book 3, which I have here, and this one, the trade paperback, it was that minus your coupon code. Now Eric tried to share a coupon code that did not work, and it was smaller than mine. So I think the coupon codes may be individualized, and he already used his or something like that. But they were doing a thing on the campaign. I have windows everywhere, so I can't exactly see you guys. I have to work very carefully. There we go. Put that up for a moment. I want to make sure I can still read the chat. Whoops, wrong tab. Okay, good. I can see you guys now. Move that where it'll stay better. Yeah. I got to see the thing move out of the corner of my eye so I know you guys are, if somebody says something. But anyway, Eric promoted this last week. And with this whole thing, they put up a contest. Can you do 1,000 push-ups in a day? Which I didn't even read the rules. Because I knew I couldn't do this. But yeah, let's hear it from Eric.
Once you buy your book, if you want to do the Samson push-up challenge, which I know some of you will, definitely Blue Samurai. This sounds like it's right up Blue Samurai's alley here. So you come over here, the Samson challenge. Okay, you do 1,000 push-ups in one day to be entered into a drawing to win $1,000 grand prize. Now let's check out this video real quick.
I'm muted. There we go. After that, he has like technical malfunctions where he can't show the video, and then it takes a while to come up or whatnot. But yeah, he called me out. So I did try. I wanted to see how it would go, because you think if you do, let's see, 25 push-ups every half hour for 16 hours, then that's 800. So you got to do a little bit more than that. But blah blah blah. If you're going to be tired later, so in 20, and I remember I took this to be 24 hours, so maybe I'd sleep in the middle. But if you're going to be more tired later, specifically in those muscles, then you want to front load with more, which makes you even more tired later, to where like your last set could be 1 push-up. But they don't care how you broke it up. So, whatever sets you want for all the reps, just add up to 1,000. And so I started taking video of myself, and it's pretty bad because I couldn't arrange the camera correctly, but it's like way too close. At one point, it's just between like my mid shoulder and my mid thigh, and it's just me going up and down. So anyway, not pretty video. And I noticed with a little click in my shoulder at the very top, like where the firm part is on top of your shoulder, because I've had multiple surgeries in there. Like that's not going to work, even if I were strong enough to do it. So sorry, I tried. I got to 85 in 4. I'm trying to pace it out, so like 15 minutes, half an hour. I did more. First was just 15 to push-ups to kind of test the camera angle. But yeah, I failed. Anyway, that's it. I failed. All right, remove this from the stream. Oh no, how do I? Oh no, that's the wrong one. Okay, that's something else. Remove this from the stream. Remove from studio. All right, so yeah, I failed that. Let's look at the artwork then. Remove. I think you can still get the book there. I'm not sure. I'm not dead certain, I should say. Let's see, get my copy, double check. I'm just going to see if I can buy the book. He's got NFTs and stuff like that. Purchase. Yeah, it looks like even though we're past the campaign date and the push-ups were due by today, that you can still get the book on that site. So there we go. All right, flip through the art. A perfect role model, Gerbert. Where'd you get that name? So the second half of book 2 was drawn by Eric NINALTOWSKI, who called me out. And this is book 3, which, let's see, we've got more Eric NINALTOWSKI for chapter 1, and then Jose Guillem, Guillem for chapter 2. So we're catching up a bit. So yeah, this is Eric NINALTOWSKI art, which we're a big fan of. Blatantly, that must be Delilah. Now, Eric has shown a lot of his process stuff, like for his Shadow Sentry, he did videos of process. I'm looking for one set of pages in here. A lot of his hand done, because he does them by hand, originals. Hey, there's another fox. That's a theme. His originals aren't necessarily always on one page. So he'll get through like several panels, and then something's wrong here. So he'll just grab a new sheet and start there again, or start with this up higher or whatever, and then do the other panels on another page, and then put these two separate sheets together in Photoshop or something like that. But we saw him drawing this page where they cut off all of his dreadlocks, because that's what they are, and saw him drawing this page too, where they're blinding him. Now, earlier on, the scribe listening to this story said, so now you see black, and he says, no, now I see nothing but memories. Whoop. Okay, so you're saying we have professional artists and good writers? Sold. Yeah, I mean, even with the, hey, evangelicals will misread this and misuse it, this is a well-written book. I like the side characters, even if they're fictional. Okay, so we're getting to the crescendo here. By the way, I skipped a page. I think we're past the chapter break. So where did it go from NINALTOWSKI? Yeah, I think that must have been his last page. And then this is somebody else, I believe. But yeah, Samson brings the temple down on, or whatever temple they're in, I forget. Sorry for the lapse of memory. Brings it down on them, which takes him out. So it's kind of like winning your battle against cancer is when you die, And here's an epilogue. Okay, yeah, it's not going to make sense for me to read the epilogue. Or maybe that is all Eric NINALTOWSKI, and I'm just kind of seeing it wrongly. And this is the other guy, The Gates of Gaza, Tales of Samson. Okay, yeah, I like this artwork too. Dang, that's good. Move over a little for you. Tell me if I'm flipping too fast, by the way. I missed something here. Gerbert wasn't technically in the Bible either. He was in the Spirit. I'm glad you intend your puns like a real man. Yeah, solid writing, solid art, and even this little backup story I think has solid art in it. So always tell me if I'm if I'm flipping pages too fast. See, killing you is a Pyrrhic victory at best for cancer. Nah, Norm Macdonald said it's a draw. He thinks it's a draw. All right. So then there may be one little extra in the trade paperback. So I'm going to start at the back of the trade paperback. Oh, I hate it when books do this. They fail to flatten out. Yeah, I think there's an extra in here. Oh, he signed it. I can tell because I can feel it over here. He signed it with a ballpoint pen right there. And Eric signed it. Cool. Yep. 151. That's mine. So on the front end of this, everybody who worked on the book has a place. So if I ever meet Mike Miller, I can have him sign my book. Cool. Thank you very much. Okay, this is a very matte, flat paper. It does pull the color back a little bit because I'm not getting like the shiny kind of glare. I'm getting the matte kind of glare. You can still, yeah. So it does put in that haze we saw in the other book, but it's not bad. Yep, it's just for this type of paper. It reminds me of dry things. Okay, so we're at the end of the book. Gates of Gaza. That one ends here. Okay. They said there were going to be some extras, so here we are. Here's Samson and the Lion. Concept art, 1 of 6. By, I can't read the name there, so sorry. Daniel Carter. Yeah, this is it. There we go. Oh, I know something I was going to bring up. I feel like I'm forgetting something, so I know what it was. To the Hebrews, this kind of shirtlessness that we see throughout the entire book for Samson and others was considered nudity. So, like, they would have, if, let's say, when it says that, what's his name, Peter was out fishing and stripped down to, it would be down to his tunic or whatever. That's like us wearing gym shorts and a t-shirt, is what Peter would have stripped down to. I forget the passage exactly. So when you see all these bold, shirtless Hebrews, no. But they were living in a time when they weren't living according to, Hebrew properness. So, oh, hey, this is that little other book I have. This is, okay, Gideon. Hey, Tank Ferret, you're coming in right at the end, man. I'm so sorry. But you can still buy this book on that website, even though the main campaign is over. They may be putting it up on Kickstarter, from what I saw. So bookmark that website, sign up for his mailing list, and so if he does anything else on his own website, you might get a coupon code in the future. Not for this one. So this would be $30 plus shipping to get one of the later half or later quarter numbers out of. I don't know why they did all that. Yeah. So the guy knows how to pick good, solid artists. I'll give him that much, including our friend Eric. Okay, this chapter 4, I don't know what the QR codes are and how it's broken into chapters, but here he marked on the map where things are taking place. So that's cool. Just happened to flip open to this. So yeah, positive reviews. Really, everything I complained about evangelicalism is just, yeah, I've hated those things for a long time. This just reminded, I was reminded about them because of literally anything evangelical. I'm like, oh, that stuff. It's just funny that evangelicals would consider me an enemy, but so do the Catholics. So anyway, please also check out the art of Richard Wile, and this is Little Never Fear Ghost book, but his link should be in the description as well. So thanks everybody for listening to me blather for almost 2 hours. We are just a few minutes shy. Appreciate it. Let's see, what have I got? That's Eric NINALTOWSKI. That's my intro. I need to load the exit video. Yeah. Keep wanting to say any questions, because in jiu-jitsu class we keep doing that. Is anybody got questions? Is that clear? Let's see. Hail Blue, hail the chat. I appreciate everybody being patient with my stream skills, my lack of professionalism. But yeah, please, if you're on Twitter, please go tweet at Eric NINALTOWSKI. I think it's Eric NINALTOWSKI Art on Twitter. It might be him. Tweet at him that, we found out you called Blue out and he failed. So just go ahead. I don't mind. I'm not going to cry hard. So, stream. Yeah, thanks for being here. Oh, I feel like I'm forgetting things, but I always feel like I'm forgetting things. Have a good night. Sleep tight. Take care of each other. Aha! I forgot something. Thank you. Okay, the reason you know me is because of Tank. Thank you, Tank, for sharing tweets. Please like and share the stream. Even if you want to mock it, just like and share the stream. I appreciate the thumbs up, everyone. I keep forgetting to say that. Go tweet about it, even if you just want to say it sucked. Please, mention it around. And if you want to say it sucked, come back after it reloads and leave a comment. Okay, bye. Ninja's a good person. Okay.